Now, if you invested around $1,500 in Tencent's IPO in 2004, your stake would now be worth a whopping $1 million. The ever-expanding Chinese tech giant has now joined the club of the world's 5 biggest companies and is the first Asian firm to hit $500 billion in market value. Let's take a closer look.
Some of the company coming out of China is in the same league as some of the by far the biggest companies in the world. Just gives an idea of how much they've come on in the last 20 years, but also an indication and a pointer for what we can expect out of China in the next 20 years.
Tech expert David Papp joins us now from Edmonton in Canada. David, great to have you on Money Talks. Let's talk about Tencent's amazing run. Its stock has had this incredible rise. Do you feel that it's overvalued at these levels, despite the fact that it's earning a hell of a lot of money?
No, actually, I don't. I think that they've done an amazing thing of distributing their service offerings across a variety of platforms. So I think what they can do is actually weather out any of the bumps, that occur over time. I think they're very well platformed and situated right now.
But it is starting to expand beyond China, especially in terms of WeChat. I'm talking about this all-encompassing app in which you can do everything from chat with your friends to pay for stuff. How much of a threat do you think this is going to be to things like WhatsApp and Facebook and Google once it gains traction globally?
I think that's going to be very difficult for it to gain traction in the North American markets where, you've got Facebook, Google, and WhatsApp that have taken quite a good grip on the market. I mean, Facebook has over 2 billion active users, and Facebook 2 years ago acquired WhatsApp, and WhatsApp is now over 1 billion users as well, which is exactly the same size as WeChat. So they've got a long way to go, and it'll be interesting to see what the future has for them. But I think it's going to be an interesting and difficult struggle for them because there's something to be said about being first in the market.
So you kind of see WeChat and Tencent growing almost in a bubble of its own, that it's kind of going to be creating a market of its own. Is that kind of how you see it?
Absolutely. I think they're creating an all-in-one platform that is absolutely amazing. They've definitely got a strong grip on the Asian market, which has been something that's been very difficult for the other social networking platforms to do. So I think they're very well positioned with their surface offerings that they have right now.
But do you not see a time that they're going to come up against a bit of a brick wall? Let's assume that they expand greatly into Asia, but they're still going to go head-to-head with the likes of WhatsApp and the others, aren't they?
They are. And, it's interesting. We often thought that Facebook was going to hit a brick wall, and yet here they are, when they hit the 1 billion mark, and now they're over the 2 billion mark for users. So I think that WeChat still has a lot of growth potential.
Do you see Western tech giants starting to copy some of Tencent's model in this all-encompassing app that kind of sucks you into their universe?
I think everybody's trying to do that. You've got the Apple universe, the Google universe, the Facebook universe, and they're all trying to expand their service offerings in order to really capture you for, payment platforms, chatting and messaging platforms, video sharing, photo sharing. I think it's something that they're all borrowing ideas from each other, and it really comes down to who can capitalize on the largest active user base. And WeChat benefits from having a strong Asian presence, which has always been a struggle for the North American social network companies.
Right. Looking ahead at Tencent, where do you see its growth coming from? Is it going to come from games? Is it going to come from advertising?
I think it's going to be a little bit of all the above because they've distributed their service offerings. But on that note, I see the future is really getting into a lot more video. So we're talking about video advertisements, video marketing, video sharing. We're seeing that on platforms like Facebook and Instagram. I mean, of course, YouTube, which is, huge globally. And I think that's where the Tencent has a lot of potential in the future.
Okay, I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there. David Papp in Edmonton in Canada. Thank you so much.